Okay, sorry, I had to take a little break. My daughter woke up from her nap. But I'm back. With the methanol, we should look at the shape of the carbon. Since carbon has 4 areas of electron density around it, and it has 4 bonds around it, it's going to be tetrahedral. Okay, so the carbon is tetrahedral. If we look at the oxygen as the central atom, again, we could look at carbon as the central atom or oxygen. If we choose oxygen as the central atom and look at its shape, it is going to be bent because it has 4 areas of electron density. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hang on, let me fix the focus. There we go. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of electron density and 2 bonds. So that means it's going to be bent. Okay. On to NH3. Nitrogen comes in with 5. Hydrogen comes in with 3 times 1, so we have a total of 8 electrons to work with. Obviously nitrogen is our central atom. Draw our 3 bonds, 2 hydrogens. Okay, we've used 2, 4, 6 of our 8 electrons. So we're going to put those last 2 on the central atom and make an octet for nitrogen. Hydrogen's happy because it has 2. Okay, now looking at the shape, this has 4 areas of electron density. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 bonds. That means it's pyramidal. If we look at the polarity, nitrogen is going to be partially negative because nitrogen is more electronegative than hydrogen. So each one of these bonds is polar with the electron density flowing towards nitrogen, so it will have a partial negative, and each one of the hydrogens will be partially positive. Alright, moving on to CH3NH2. Again, with this case, you could have 2 central atoms. We'll start with carbon as our central atom. Actually, let me count the electrons first. Carbon comes in with 4, 3 times 1 for hydrogen. Nitrogen comes in with 5, and 2 times 1 for hydrogen. So a total we have 7, plus 5 is 12, plus 2 is 14 total electrons. Start by drawing my bonds to hydrogen, and then 1 bond to nitrogen, and then my 2 hydrogen bonds coming off of nitrogen. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I got 2 left. Since carbon already has an octet, I'm going to put those 2 on nitrogen. And you may start to see a trend here that when nitrogen has 3 bonds, it has a lone pair. When carbon has 4 bonds, it has no lone pairs of electrons. Now with polarity, the carbon-nitrogen bond is polar because nitrogen is more electronegative, so the electrons in that bond are going to want to flow towards nitrogen. The electrons in the nitrogen-hydrogen bond, just as we saw before, are going to want to flow towards nitrogen as well. So nitrogen in this case is partially negative, and each one of these hydrogens and then the carbon is partially positive. The hydrogen is not positive or negative because the carbon-hydrogen bond is nonpolar. Now looking at the shape, because carbon has 4 bonds and 4 areas of electron density, the shape of carbon is tetrahedral. The shape of nitrogen, just like with this one, 4 areas of electron density. I know this is kind of a busy diagram, there's lots going on, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of electron density and 3 bonds, 1 with the carbon, 2 with hydrogens, so that makes it pyramidal. Okay, so that's it for the polarity and